Welcome to SVL Free News and Views for Wednesday, July the 25th. Is that right, Mike?
That's right.
All right. And we're here in the rain a little bit. We got Mitchell College behind us. I want to thank all of our sponsors, including Mitchell College, Randy Marion, Blue Harbor Bank, Piedmont Healthcare, Key to Escape, Fast Fields, I'm missing Statesville Family YMCA, and McDonald's of Iredell County. I think I got them all there. So today, Mike, we got a few news stories. What you got going over at the YMCA?
Yeah, the first thing I would point out is the YMCA has a special program going on through August. If you donate a free backpack, which will be given to an Iredell Statesville student in need, you have no joiner's fee to join the YMCA, and that's through August. And then just the other news that I would share today is a great send-off for David Bradley last night at the Civic Center. As you know,
all fun. You got roasted.
He did get roasted. As you know, he's leaving to be the director of the chamber in Athens, Georgia. But David Meacham was introduced to the crowd last night as the interim director. I think David would do a great job, and they've started a national search for the new president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce.
And the thing about David, he's no stranger to Statesville. He was formerly the housing director, and he knows Statesville. He knows all the people in Statesville.
And he's been involved with the chamber. So.
Okay. Also in fitness news, Richard Griggs sent me a note that the Fitness and Activity Center is taking to the streets. So we have some pictures here how they went to Kimbrough Park today to launch their new mobile fitness program and recreation units, he calls it. The mobile recreation unit is stocked with kickballs, footballs, and football flags, basketballs, soccer balls, goals, frisbee, spike ball, relay race supplies, hula hoops, and more. So they're taking to the streets. You'll be hearing more about them going out. So taking the Fitness and Activity Center to the folks.
I think it's a great program that the Recreation and Parks Department's doing. You hear in the news all the time about increase in childhood obesity, getting kids away from video games, getting them outside and playing. And you know, some children can't make it to the rec center, and so they're taking the rec center to the children.
Right. All right. So today on our show, you went right behind us here. It's about time for school to start up, and you had an interview about admissions at Mitchell.
Right. Thought it would. A lot of people I've heard over the years say, you know, I really need to go back to school, or I wish I had finished school, but I just haven't made time to do it, and it seems like it's too difficult to just get started. So we had a great conversation with Brenna Johnson from Student Services, just to talk about what's involved in applying to Mitchell, getting financial aid, and getting the process started.
Okay, so let's take a listen.
Thanks, Brian. I'm here in the Easton Student Services Center on the campus of Mitchell Community College here in Statesville with Brenna Johnson from Student Services.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us today.
Excited to talk with you today.
I'm interested in returning to school after a couple of decades, and I need your help.
Okay.
Could you walk me through the process of applying financial aid, registering? What's that like?
Okay, sure. So the first step of any new student is the admission application. That's available on cfnc.org, or if you go to our website, mitchellcc.edu, there's an Apply Now button up on our main menu. Really easy to find, so if you click through on there, that will take you to the admission application. There's two parts to that. So there's a residency determination, which is a statewide in-state or out-of-state tuition determination system, and then the actual admission application is secondary. On there is going to have you pick your start term, so if you want to come for fall, that would obviously be the fall term, and then it'll have you pick your program of study on there as well. And you're not stuck with that, you can always change it later, but it does have you put one on there.
So when you say program of study, you mean if I want to go for an AA degree, or if I want to take one of your specialty career type programs?
Yes, correct. So it'll just be your major basically. So
Okay.
if you want to do nursing or business or Associate of Arts transfer program, that's where you would indicate that.
Okay, and then the next step is probably financial aid?
Financial aid, yes, that's a separate application. That is on FAFSA.gov, so FAFSA.gov. For the 2018-19 school year, you'll do the 2018-19 FAFSA. Make sure that you indicate Mitchell Community College on there, that way we receive your financial aid application. But yes, do that as soon as you can, that way any additional documents we need, you'll be notified of them quicker.
And I should also expect some placement testing.
Yes, so after the application, placement testing is the next step. Most students who graduated quite a few years ago will need placement testing. If it's a more recent high school graduate, we can use a high school transcript and use the GPA and the fourth math to see if that will use a placement test waiver. But most students do the placement test. There's an English and a math part, and it just assesses where you're at and places you into corresponding classes.
Okay, and that's about 4 hours total?
It's about 4 hours, yes. We say 2 hours for the math, 2 hours for the English, give or take a little bit depending on the student.
So that's intimidating for me to think about coming in and sitting for 4 hours. Is it something you can study for, or do you not want them to study for?
There is a study guide. If you go on our website on the placement test link, there is a link to some study guide resources. There's an app I believe you can download to practice, but it's not very intense math. It's graphing and equations, which may be a test for some people, but fractions, decimals, things like that. So kind of your basic high school math. We're not doing trigonometry and all of that on here.
And the goal is to determine if I need a developmental course or if I can go right into the curriculum.
Yes, correct. So instead of you starting in pre-calculus, if you're not ready, it'll just kind of place you into the developmental courses to brush up a little bit before moving on to college level.
Okay, so filling out the application and the FAFSA, I could do at home before I even come into student services, right?
You can, yes. It's all available online.
And it's key, though, when I come in, if possible, to bring my high school transcripts or college transcripts if I've had some college.
Yes, correct. We can use also the college transcripts if you have an English or a math credit. We can use those in place of the college placement test. So if you have those, bring them in. We can take a look at them and kind of expedite the admissions process a little bit.
Now, the fall semester begins on August the 15th, right?
Correct.
So I'm a procrastinator by nature. What's the latest really that I could come in and still at least take 1 or 2 classes in the fall and get started?
The last day for online registration is August 9th, so that's kind of the deadline, I would say. If you don't get in before that, we do have late start session, which would be October 15th. So those will be a half a semester long, still the same amount of credits, but those will just be starting in October.
Okay, so I can procrastinate even more.
You can, yes.
So there are no fees for the application process, no fees for the placement test.
Correct.
How much could I expect to, assuming I got no financial aid, but I'm in state, how much could I expect to pay per class or maybe for a full load in the fall?
Per class, it's about $300. For a full-time student, which would be 12 credit hours, it's about a little over 1,000. I don't have the exact number, but somewhere around there for a full-time in-state student.
Plus books?
Plus books, yes.
Okay. Now, how fast, how long does it take to find out about financial aid?
Financial aid takes a little bit longer. Once you complete the FAFSA application, it takes about a week for us to actually get that information, and then from there, certain students are selected for verification, which just means we need additional documentation to verify what they put on their FAFSA. So depending on that, it takes, I would say, at least a few weeks to kind of get that in place, awarded, and all of that. So I will say most students who are coming in a bit later should expect to, even if they are getting financial aid, expect to pay out of pocket at least a down payment, do a payment plan to hold their classes until financial aid takes place, which would then reimburse those charges.
Right. So as I mentioned, it's been a while since I've been on college and in classes. It's a little intimidating for me to think about writing papers. What services are available on campus here in Statesville and in Mooresville to help me?
Okay, so on both campuses we have the Mind Center, which is a free tutoring center available to students. You would just get a recommendation letter from your instructor, and then you would go to the Mind Center and they will connect you with peer tutors or the tutors that are available in the Mind Center. There's also the Write Place, so writing services are available to help on papers or to proofread papers that you've written. We also have Upswing, which is online tutoring available at any time. Middle of the night, you want some tutoring, Upswing is where you would go for that.
And all those are free?
All of those are free, yes.
And what about just getting help, getting acclimated to working on a computer? I know I'm going to have to type all my papers on the computer. I'm going to have to do research on the computer online. I need some help with that stuff.
Okay, well we do. The library does have computers available and they can help walk students through that stuff, but we also have, through the continuing education side of the college, we kind of have some intro to the Microsoft programs, classes like that, that would just be kind of a brush up or to kind of get a little more information on using those programs.
And there's plenty of help in the library also, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, well, I don't feel as overwhelmed as I did when we sat down. So thanks for walking me through the process. For our viewers, again, you can find lots of information at mitchellcc.edu. You can call the admissions department at 704-978-5493. And don't be intimidated. There are plenty of good people here to help walk you through the process. And there's no better time than today to get started. So thanks, Brenna. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you.
Okay, so there you have it. They make it easy, Mike.
Right, and they have a lot of support. All their services are free. If it's something you've been interested in doing, just take one class to get started. You don't have to do it all at once.
Okay, because there's a lot of need here in Iredell County for trained folks, technically trained folks. And Mitchell is the avenue to do that. All right, Mike, so we wrapped up here Wednesday, July 25th, and we'll see you again on Friday. Have a good week.